the mic on, please?
I'll be happy to. Pioneer Town, Michelle Myers, absent. Yucca Mesa, Tom Ziegert, absent. Landers, vacant. Joshua Tree, Mark Lundquist.
Here.
Flamingo Heights, Lib Koenig.
Here.
Desert Heights, Pat Flanagan, absent. Wonder Valley, Teresa Seitz. Morongo Valley, Gail Swearet.
Here.
Copper Mountain Mesa, Mary Helen Tuttle. Here.
Okay, item E, approval of minutes September 12, 2016. The minutes are on the draft minutes. Approval of minutes September 12, 2016, and those draft minutes are on the back.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, we'll go right to public comment. We have a couple here. First one is Buck Buckley.
Hi, Bud.
Hello?
Yeah.
Working? Okay. Buck Buckley, Joshua Tree. Just talking about next era again. They've already started tearing down the airport and moving ahead like full steam, basically. Perimeter fencing area has been graded. There's coming lawsuits against them, and I'm really surprised the county's allowing them to move forward at such a rate when it's just kind of a sad situation. We don't have much out here, and I've said this before. We have very little in the way of anything that's in place. And our airport was actually, I think, a better location for an airport than in town in Yucca Valley, because it had wide open spaces and a lot of longer runway. Also, Altamira is another project that's just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. And both of these set precedents, and that's the problem I have with it, and that's why I'm speaking out. I do rooftop solar. You put it on your roof, and you as a person, an individual, are secure. If you have a small battery backup system, like a Powerwall from Tesla or just any kind of battery that pushes up against it, and the grid goes down, you have power. And it's at your home where it should be. It's the end use. Solar farms aren't going to make it for the next 20 years. These won't make their life expectancy, which is 25 years. Who are they going to sell the energy to when everybody has it on their roof? Which will happen in the next 5 to 10 years because it's already happened much faster than people realize. So basically that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next commenter, Ed Valorand.
I'm Ed Valorand. I own property out in Wonder Valley, and when I first bought out there, they had a volunteer fire department. At the last meeting, I expressed disappointment with our county fire because they couldn't seem to assign someone out there that could drive the full-size fire truck, which isn't out there anymore. They just have a brush control truck, which was at the health fair thing in 29 Palms last Saturday. That's 10 miles from Lucky Park to the West Fire Station, and about another 9 miles further even to the East Fire Station. And I took a class that was given one time, which I think they said that fire doubles in size for every minute and a half that you wait in getting there. So, a 12-minute delay would make an enormous fire. That's 2 to the 6th power, which is 64 times as large. Also, when I grew up, my uncle, I could talk to him better than I could my father. He was a union organizer, born in 1906, and I learned a whole bunch of the tricks. And we just saw one recently in Wonder Valley. Well, first of all, we're down to just a brush truck, which is, spending a bunch of time in the gym in 29 Palms, because the firemen threw the weights and other stuff that actually belonged to Wonder Valley into the trash. I think that the fire department should buy and replace that equipment and give it back to Wonder Valley. That was not county property to throw away. I'm disappointed with what's happened. Chief, what's his name, Chamberlain, wanted $498 per partial to put a fire department out there, which, like a third of the time, is out in Amboy, Essex, or some point further east. And they talked about putting a new fire station for 29 Palms at Amboy and Adobe. Well, when that happens, I'm sure there will no longer be a fire department in Wonder Valley. And with the weights and fire trucks gone, Wonder Valley won't have the option to go back to a volunteer fire department because they'll have a big capital expenditure to get any equipment or any weights or anything else for them. I guess what I'm saying is I'm very disappointed with County Fire. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Okay, we don't have any more comments.
One other thing.
Sure.
29 Palms has added the ambulance service to their briefings because the ambulance service, other than Yucca Valley, to the best of my knowledge, has the primary charter for medical aid, and then they're backed up by the fire. I'm wondering if they couldn't be added to the public safety report and invited to come to this meeting.
Sure, we'll take it under advisement. Who is the contractor? Is that
That's Josh.
Is that Morongo Basin? Ambulance? Okay.
Yeah, and I think they've got everything except for the city of Yucca Valley.
We'll check in with them and see what their
Thank you.
feelings are on it.
Thank you.
And by the way, I'm going to have to check the calendar next time on a weekend like this, 3-day weekend. I know we don't have much of a turnout here, and that's on me. I didn't look at the calendar and realize that Columbus Day was today. So we'll take that up with the MAC, and if we find any of their holidays are going to fall on a Monday and create a 3-day weekend, and it's going to fall on a Monday of a MAC meeting, we'll consider going dark on those days. So we do appreciate the people that have shown up. Thank you. Okay, public safety reports. We got Mike Snow from County Fire. Mike?
See if I can do that any more gracefully. Good evening, members of the council. Mike Snow, Battalion Chief of San Bernardino County Fire Department. Some of you may remember me, others I'm sure I'm a new face to. I was out here last year as a regular battalion chief to the area. I was out for a stint of surgical recovery and have now been moved back into the area effective as of the 1st of this month. So I will be serving as battalion chief on A shift for San Bernardino County Fire for the Morongo Valley and the South Desert Division. And I just want to start by addressing the citizens' concerns here. I did take note of some of your concerns, sir, and being that I'm just getting back into this area, I do have to confer with my supervisor on some of these concerns, but hopefully we'll be able to bring back some of that information to the next meeting and address some of those concerns for you.
Good. Wonder Valley used to have a tanker truck out there, which they got rid of, which is what I talked last month about. I understand now that there's a tanker truck. That tanker truck is housed in 29 Palms. 29 Palms is a community that has fire hydrants and is completely piped. That tanker truck is needed to replace the one that used to be in Wonder Valley. Could it be moved to the Wonder Valley station? There is no fire hydrants in Wonder Valley.
Right. Now, I understand that concern, and one of the primary reasons why the original water tender that was purchased is no longer there is, one, it exceeded 1 million miles on its use, It had over $40,000 in estimated repairs to be done. And given the fact that we have staffing limitations with that station out there, as you know, we staff with a full-time captain and a firefighter paramedic. When we do have the fire response out there, it is insufficient with regard to the number of personnel to respond that piece of equipment. So it was made, the decision was made to have that water tender, which has since been replaced and added to the complement of equipment in 29 Palms, to have that unit flex staffed by the 3 and 4 member crew that we have at 29s to respond that to a fire situation out in Wonder Valley. Now you have to understand that, you know, even though Wonder Valley has that brush patrol out there, they also serve with a fire engine out there as a backup. They have the ability to immediately respond and get knocked down and provide rescue. But we do have cooperative agreements with the base, and we do have mutual county response with 29, Joshua Tree, and Yucca Valley if we have to bring those units in. I understand it's an extended response, but we do have those available resources there.
11 and 13 miles away.
I understand the concerns there. And again, a lot of this is, you know, based on available assessment fees and what it costs to staff and operate a fire station, to have those additional resources in there. And that's something that we'll bring back and hopefully address to the council and to the citizens. So that's kind of where we're at with the water tender issue, but I will bring those concerns back to my supervisor, and we'll see what we can address further into the future here with regard to the needs of that community. Just for a quick update for the MAC here, total number of responses that we had for the month of September were 153 responses. Of those responses, 5 were fires. We had one unauthorized burn. Our medical and rescue continue to be our highest number of calls at 112 incidents. We had 7 requests for public assist, and other miscellaneous calls that fall into several other categories. The number was 28 responses. In that, Johnson Valley had 3 of those responses. Joshua Tree responded to 81 incidents. Wonder Valley, 22 incidents. Landers, 42 responses. Pioneer Town had 3 responses. And assistance to Yucca Mesa was 2 responses. Just a quick brief as far as fire safety goes. As you know, October is our fire prevention month, so it's a good reminder to get out there to you folks that now is the time to change those batteries and those smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide alarms. You want to do that at least annually with the change of time. That's what we advocate for our folks out there. Remember that our fire season is still quite high with regard to hazard due to our limited precipitation and moisture and extremely dry brush out there, so please be careful when utilizing fire in and around your residence. And with that, if there are no other questions, I'll turn it back over to the council. Yes, ma'am.
2 things. It's the Morongo Basin, not Morongo Valley. Morongo Valley
I stand
is its
corrected.
own fire
Yes.
department.
Morongo Basin, which I should know better because I have Morongo Basin cert that I taught for a number of years and will probably do again.
The other thing I want to ask is, I was under the impression that San Bernardino County now is going to a 3-man engine. So are you saying in Wonder Valley, they just have a captain who's obviously the engineer and paramedic firefighter?
Yes.
And are they on a fire engine or a brush patrol?
That particular unit out there, they respond to primary responses from a brush patrol.
Brush.
Yeah.
So you're still doing that? The county is still
Yes.
offering that service?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Chief Spokesman.
Hey.
I have an old water truck. Is there a way of bringing that up to your standards and having it stand by at all times if you need it? I mean, it has PTOs and fire hoses and all that.
That would be something that would have to be addressed from a liability standpoint with the county. Typically, we don't bring in private water services because then it becomes an assistance for hire for the use of that equipment, which in turn requires us to train you for fire safety and response and puts liability on the county for the response of that apparatus.
Equipment and assets and people have things like this, and I see a lot of them around.
No, I completely understand, and I was out here at the time where we received that water tender for Wonder Valley with the anticipation and hope that we would get qualified drivers, even from a volunteer standpoint, because we did fly that flyer for a number of years, that we never had any solicitation of interest from the folks out there in the community to participate in that. I see some eyebrows over there. That again was on our county website as far as volunteer for the operator in that position, and we did not receive any applications.
When was that?
Again, this is prior to my leaving, but that volunteer application was in place for well over a year.
But a year ago or 2 years ago or?
It's been probably a year since I've been out here, so I would say at least a year ago.
It's probably best to post it at the community center where people could see it, or let the rep know and we can talk about it at meetings. I know
We did have it posted there. We also had it posted on the website, and we did make mention of it.
Well, I've been there for 2 years and I don't recall seeing anything, and I've been involved in this heavily.
I would have to check with Star to see what.
Well, Star, that's been a while.
Yeah. So
I know we were talking to Chamberlain about a joint powers authority and transferring the water tender over to the park, and then training volunteers to drive it. And a lot of people in our community also came forward with water trucks, but the talks on that stalled because Chamberlain moved on, and now we've got new management, and so we have to kind of start from scratch again.
I can certainly bring that up to my supervisor, which now is Tom Marshall.
Yes.
He's the division chief out here. Actually, excuse me, the assistant chief out here. We had a change in ranking. So he is the assistant chief out here for the South Desert Division, and I will certainly bring that up to him that we might be able to revisit that.
Okay, yeah, he's been really good about talking with us and staying in touch, and Steve Tuttle too,
Okay.
as well. But thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Another
Sure.
question. I understand that the UTEC that is in 29 pounds doesn't have the drafting ability. Years ago, Wonder Valley had a volunteer. They had a map of where every swimming pool was in Wonder Valley, and the tanker they had the ability to pump out of the swimming pool into the tanker, so it didn't have to go all the way to 29 pounds. I understand the new tanker doesn't have that capability. Is it possible to get that added to the new tanker truck, even though it's in 29 pounds? If it's out to a fire there, or someone's got a swimming pool blocking two away, and it's empty, they can fill it.
A lot of that has to do with accessibility to those types of water holes around the property. But we do have and carry floato pumps on our apparatus for the sake of placing them into portable water sources and providing our engines and water tenders with available water.
I understand this tanker doesn't have it. That's why I was bringing it up.
Right.
Is it something that could be added to it Because, the swimming pool may be a mile or two away. It's not going to be something that imposes to me. Might be able to send a tenant there instead of sending them all the way to the fire hydrant back.
And we wouldn't necessarily need to have it be capable of drafting when we have those portable pumps that we offer and keep with those apparatus to fill those tanks with. They don't have to be draft capable if we're using a portable pump. Yeah.
Could you see with the portable pump is added to that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sir?
That's the first time I ever heard 1 million miles made in reference to mileage on a vehicle.
Oh, really?
But then I think of it, I suppose semi-tractor really do a lot of mileage.
They do. And in some cases, when you have tractors like that, they're repurposed from other, daily uses. It could very well have been used on a day-to-day basis for road freight, and then it became a water tender. So, over a period of time, they do rack up the mileage.
Yeah, that was neat to hear that.
Okay, thank you, Mike, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Cal Fires, Grant wasn't, he's on vacation, or?
He is committed with an incident on the other side of the desert.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right, good evening. Good evening, board. My name is Drew Smith. I'm with Cal Fire. I'm a fire captain in Yucca Valley. And my report to you guys today is really nothing substantial as far as fire growth and fire activity within state Estuary area. We've had a busy summer, as you guys know, with the Blue Cut Fire, the pilot fire we're doing. State land and federal land has been multi-jurisdictional incidents. We've had all our cooperators among these incidents, and as far as anything substantial within this month, within last month, nothing really. Now, and we can contribute that to fire prevention, and also the weather is in our favor right now. The Blue Cut Fire was a total of, I do believe, 36,000 acres, 100% contained, multi-jurisdictional, between the Forest Service, San Bernardino County Fire, local agencies, and ourselves, and a pilot fire as well. That was 8,000 acres. And statewide, there's nothing substantial. There's been small fires up and down the state that has consumed resources, but it's nothing that has drawn from Southern California resources. And mainly the Sobranas fire is the biggest one in the state so far this summer, and that's at 98% contained. To build on what Chief Snow was saying with Fire Prevention Week, what I'd like to add to that is 95% of fires are human caused, and a way to get around that is outdoor power equipment. Try to use that before 10 o'clock in the morning. Between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock is prime burning condition. If we can get some of your outdoor work done before 10 a.m., you can cut down on fire damage. CAL FIRE is still presently doing wildland fire inspections in Morongo Basin area, and we're going to be doing that well into the winter time. Winter time is our slower time of the season, and that's when we try to catch up on our fire inspections. Something to add to that is historically, October and November have been some of the largest fire growth in the state, and you can contribute that to the Santa Ana winds. So hopefully the next coming weeks we can have mild weather conditions and not having to Santa Ana conditions, Santa Ana winds. So hopefully the weather's going to work in our favor and we have nothing substantial that happens within our county. Any questions at all?
Is the Airway Center going to be staffed now continuously?
Most likely. Now, when I say most likely is we have funding for, it's called transitional staffing. There's peak staffing that we have in the summertime, and then wintertime we have transitional staffing. We staff a total of 7 stations. And that ranges from the Owens Valley area. We have 2 stations up there. We have some mountaintop, Big Bear, Crestline, all through there. And then desert and valley. So between those 7 stations that we're going to staff, Yucca Valley is on that list. Now, if something was to change, we would know closer to the date. But as of right now, it does look like it's going to be over.
And burn permits, are you still restricting burning, outdoor burning?
We're still restricting outdoor burning. And a good indication is when we get more than 2 inches of rain, we're going to evaluate the fire severity and lift the fire suspension, the burning suspension.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions? Great, thanks,
you.
Drew. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thanks for coming. Okay, we have Eric Robles, and who's presenting? Simon Miller? CHP?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. And as far as CHP, we have been very busy. The community has been putting us to work quite a bit for, well, at least me, for public relations stuff, and I appreciate it because I do always remind you, please use us. We are a resource. We're very happy to come to any functions, community functions, and things of that nature. Let me know, call me, email me, come by the office, what have you, and I will always try to get you on a calendar. I try not to tell anybody no. But I have been very busy this month. It was a good busy, so thank you very much. We're very happy to do it, and we'll continue to do so. So now that we're getting into October, we just want to remind everybody that the changing weather conditions, so please be aware of rain and whatever else may be coming. I've been here for almost 6 years now. Most years I usually see people's tool sheds and stuff floating down the highway at certain times of the year, so just be very careful. Standing water or flowing water, they say turn around, don't drown, so just be very careful. And also now that school is in session, please watch out for more pedestrian traffic, school buses, and Halloween will be coming, and so please be very aware of the children as well. And I think that's about all I have for you tonight, but I will take questions on any topic at all. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate it. Okay, Sheriff's Report. We don't have a sheriff representative here tonight. Okay, on to item H, presentation. Celeste Doyle will present information on the Federal Highway Safety Improvement Program, HSIP, federal grant money available for projects on state and local roads to improve vehicle, bicycle, and pedestrian safety. One thing I did want to mention, and I wanted to ask Bob back there, that I noticed that our MAC Facebook site is becoming very popular now. We get more and more hits every day. And Bob, what is the exact YouTube? I understand that's getting more popular now for these meetings.
Morongo Council meetings.
Morongo Council meetings. And also you can find it on Big Mac, possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the date.
And the date. Just, yeah, I found using the date. We'll zero it in. So even though we don't have a large audience, this is viewed on YouTube, and I noticed we're getting a lot of hits on that too. So, Celeste?
Thank you, I'm sorry.
You're up, Celeste.
All right. This is, I just want to share this with the members of the back. This is a printout from the website. Thank you. And this is for everybody else to share. You want to pass these around? Thank you. I'm sorry to see.
I actually saw this on the website. I went to it.
Oh,
If you'd like to have that, you're welcome to it.
good evening. My name is Celeste Doyle. Oh, there we go. Good evening. My name is Celeste Doyle. I'm a resident of Joshua Tree, and I want to thank Mr. Lundquist as well as the MAC members for letting me have some time on the agenda this evening to discuss this important opportunity. This is regarding a program called the Highway Safety Improvement Program, which is federal grant money for almost anything that improves highway safety, reduces incidents of crashes or injuries or any other kind of unpleasant interaction between pedestrians and vehicles. It is an annual program, and application deadlines are in August, so this is an opportune time to begin discussions. And this program is millions and millions of dollars that are distributed throughout the states through the Highway Department of Transportation and then through the counties and municipalities that apply for the funds. Eligible projects include anything and everything, again, that improves safety on local roads as well as state highways and county highways. So we can apply for crosswalks, for traffic lights, for sidewalks, for bike lanes, for improvements to intersections, for stormwater channelization and control, for lighting, for all kinds of things. It's a question of justification. There are some very stringent requirements. In our situation, because we are an unincorporated community, the county would have to be the applicant. The applications require a sign-off from a county engineer, a traffic engineer, and so that requires us to coordinate with the Public Works Department from the county. There are some projects that are much easier than others. For example, under this program, there are specific set-asides for crosswalks that don't necessarily involve a traffic light. So, for example, at Sunset and Highway 62 in Joshua Tree, this is essentially an off-the-shelf project that County Public Works could take and fill out the paperwork and submit it for, again, these set-aside funds. There is no cost-benefit analysis required for that kind of project, which makes it even easier. Most projects, for example, a traffic light or stormwater channel under Highway 62 would require a cost-benefit analysis. But anyways, the amounts that are available under the set-asides do change every year. And the priorities will change a little bit every year, but it is an annual program. I think I mentioned that the deadline is August, so we do have an adequate window to organize this with the County Public Works Department. I did give out the handouts, and let's see, where am I at? What I'm here basically is to make sure that you are aware of this, and also that the emergency service agencies are aware of this, because I think they should be part of the discussion in terms of identifying and prioritizing the projects that we should focus on in conjunction and in cooperation with the Public Works Department. Let's see, I do have some pictures of Joshua Tree that I was going to toss out, but I'm not really here to talk about specific projects, but just to make sure that you're aware of this and to ask the MAC to reach out to the areas that you represent in unincorporated Joshua or Morongo Basin to work with those
throughout the Morongo Basin, which I think is just amazing that we now have our own training site. Thanks.
Yes. And I don't have anything because I've been down with the car.
Okay, well, thanks, Lynn. Joshua Tree, don't have a lot. Second Saturday nights is always an ongoing event, farmers market, and I just want to put out a safety message. The tourists are headed our way. The town is very crowded now. The traffic is getting insane again through town, especially downtown. Those Priuses, yeah, so you're, and the electric cars, yeah. You can't even hear the electric cars, that's the problem. Yeah, so be vigilant when you come down the highway all the way from the Morongo Basin, or Morongo Valley all the way to Wonder Valley. That's it, thank you.
Gail Swore at Morongo Valley. What shall I say? Well, we had a very successful pancake breakfast for our firefighters auxiliary and also a car show last Saturday that was put on by our firefighters union. And it was a lot of fun at the park. Everyone, I think, had a good time. We have just received a $420,000 grant for a new fire engine. Whoa! So $20,000 has to come from us, and $400,000 is coming from the federal government team, I think. So our fire chief and our captain, Fire Chief Jack Johnson and Captain Rary, are going to different places to look at the different fire engines that we could get to see which is the best for us. So they're kind of traveling around trying to find the right one. So we're very excited about that. And we also got an exhaust grant system. We were having trouble with exhaust in our bay going into the quarters of the fire department and our offices. And we did get a grant for that, and that's moving along. We should have that fairly soon. And we're also working on a grant, I think kind of with CAL FIRE, on clearing brush around the park. There's an area behind the tennis courts that's filled with brush, and there was a grant opportunity out there, and so we have applied for that grant, and we're hoping that we'll get it, and we'll be working, I think, with CAL FIRE. It's kind of a process. We have to go through CEQA and that whole thing, I mean, because it's a wetlands back there, and so it all has to be studied before we can actually do anything, but we will be working with CAL FIRE on that, so thank you very much. I think maybe you brought that to our attention, that grant, so thank you. And that's it for now. We're still working week by week, looking at our budget and hoping we can continue doing what we're doing, and we'll just see what happens. Thanks a lot.
Mary Helen Tuttle, Copper Mountain Mesa. Breakfast is just booming. First Saturday of the month breakfast. We are doing over 80 people now. That's quite a lot, seeing as when I first started there was 27. That's a lot of eggs and sausage. It's very popular, especially now that it's election season, so we're getting some candidates coming out. We're going to have next month is our annual board meeting, general membership. We're looking for some new faces, some new people to be excited about coming to the center and being on the board, coming up with some new ideas. One of the things that's happening out there is called High Desert Test Kitchens. And so they pick an ingredient, an item that is foraged from the desert. Last month it was mesquite. This month it's, do you know, Teresa? Buckwheat. So you're encouraged to bring items made with buckwheat to the center on the third Monday of the month, and they make it like a potluck, informative. You get to see these things. It was very well attended. I guess there was like 30 folks there. I was not able to go. I was away, but was I? Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting a lot of interest. The roads we're getting, I guess because we keep irritating the county, and that's special districts in particular, because we're squeaky wheeling it, they're giving us a little more activity. They came out and gave us the results of the survey, and basically everyone said that they're willing to give a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit. So we're hoping to have a special election in either December or January, I believe, and we're looking at doing an additional $40 a year, which is added to the 27. So you're looking at about $5 a month to have our roads a bit better. So if we can get that, that would be good. The county did send some work out. They sent out the grader. They did some work on Winters Road, and 3 days later, it was trashed. Sunfair as well. Sunfair up above the, I guess it's Coyote Valley there, but anyway, up above that turn, it is just horrendous. It's really, what do they call it, axle braking? I don't go that way, so... And there's a reason why I don't go that way. It's because of that. And they no sooner fix it and fill it in and make it nice and smooth, and then you get them doing, 50 miles an hour out there. So, I don't know. It's a never-ending story, I suppose, but it's been the same story since the 60s. But anyway, that's about new out there. So if anyone's interested in serving on our board and helping to volunteer out there, please come to our meeting the second Saturday in November. And, of course, breakfast the first Saturday of the month. That's best breakfast for $7. Thank you.
And with that, we are adjourned. Thanks for coming, everybody.